Hey, what's up? Richard Bryce here. Today, my goal is to help you get to more drop shots. So this is continuing the theme from the week where we've been looking at getting to the ball as quickly as you can, getting set up in the right position so you can hit a better quality of shot. Well, what we haven't covered so far is getting to drop shots. You might have been in this situation, you play against someone, they keep drop shot on you, you're not getting to them, it's really annoying. So we're gonna change that today. That's what we're gonna work on. But I wanna break it down into kind of 3 components. The first one is going to be the anticipation. So often you can see a drop shot coming, so we're going to quickly talk about what to look for. The next one is going to be the footwork pattern, so the precise way that you especially do the first step, because that's going to be key. And then the third thing is going to be the mindset and the way that you approach running to a drop shot. So I hope you find it helpful. If you do, it'd be awesome if you give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Okay, so the first piece of being able to get to drop shots is starting to really pay attention to what your opponent's doing and starting to try and anticipate what's going on. For some shots, anticipation can be a little bit more difficult, but for drop shots, it's often fairly easy. So the first thing you want to be considering is where they are on the court. So if your opponent is standing back here, you probably don't need to worry about them hitting a drop shot. If they're hitting a drop shot from back here, you're gonna see it coming. No matter how good it is, you'll be able to get to it anyway. So you don't really need to worry about it. If you're playing against a better quality of player, they're just not gonna try drop shotting from too far back. So you wanna be thinking, you know, around the baseline and a little bit closer. So they're gonna be a little bit closer into the net when they hit a drop shot. You also want to consider where you are. If you're way further back, so if you are hanging back behind the baseline yourself and your opponent is up a little bit closer to the baseline, this might now be a good time for them to hit a drop shot if they're a good player and they're recognizing the opportunity. If you are much closer to the baseline, in theory, it's less likely that your opponent's going to be hitting a drop shot when you're in that position. So you've got to factor those things into account. But then in terms of what they're doing, you want to be looking for changes in grips. So if someone is stepping in to hit a forehand, most people are going to change their grip. So a lot of people have got a semi-Western grip. You'll notice them just kind of adjust the grip and then hit the drop shot. You know, some people can hit drop shots with that semi-Western grip, but most players, even really high-level players, are going to adjust that grip and then hit it. So you've got to look for them. They're being set up and then they're just going to adjust that grip, and instead of swinging more quickly, they'll do the drop shot. And it's going to be the same thing on a backhand side. You know, it can be a little bit more challenging if someone generally hits slice, because they're going to be hitting that slice backhand and then they can just make the adjustment from there. But if they're generally hitting a two-handed backhand, they're going to suddenly adjust it. Or if they're hitting a one-handed topspin backhand, they'll be set up with a unit turn there, and then again, they're going to adjust the grip. So you want to kind of pay attention to where you are on the court, pay attention to where they are on the court, and then start to look for what they're doing. Are they adjusting this grip as they go to play the shot? And then the final piece that comes with it is the type of opponent you're playing against. Some people just never drop shot, they don't have that shot, they don't play that shot. You don't have to worry about it. But if you're playing someone that has shown that they're willing to play the drop shot and they can play it well and consistently, you want to start to pay more attention to what they're doing and start to predict that it might happen. So that is step 1 in getting to more drop shots. The next piece of getting to more drop shots is going to be your first step and the way that you move to the ball. Now, obviously a big piece that comes along with this is the visual component. You need to have a highly functioning visual system in order to read what's happening quickly, both in terms of the anticipation that we just talked about, but now in terms of pure reaction speed once they've hit the shot. So if you haven't already done so, I've created a free tennis vision starter program to help you with the visual side of things, because to be brutally honest, a lot of adult tennis players' visual systems just don't function well enough to allow them to play the level that they want. So you've got to recognize the ball, but once you've recognized the ball, hopefully if you've watch the other videos this week, you're landing from your split step. By the time you land from your split step, they've already made contact, so you know where it's going, and then it's just a case of reacting as quickly as you can. Now, the precise way that you do the footwork is going to be important. What most people do is they step forwards, but that's actually a really inefficient way to travel in that direction. The fastest way to travel in that direction is to drop your foot back. So if you watch a lot of the real top pros, they'll land from the split step and then they'll do some variation where they move backwards, and it might even be both feet at the same time, so it might look more like that. So this is something that I highly advise that you practice without the racket. You also want to make sure that you're warmed up and that your ankles are nice and safe and stable, because depending how strong your ankles are, this can be problematic. But then what I would start by doing is practicing being in a standing position and dropping back into a running position. So I've got feet in neutral. I'm going to be dropping back. Now the key thing here is the angle of this shin and the angle of this shin. They're both going to be pointing back in that direction, and my body weight is actually going to transfer forwards. So now I've got this position where my center of gravity is going forwards, and it's going to be much easier for me to accelerate. So I'm here, and then I can accelerate forwards. So you want to practice this slowly off both legs, just so you've got the mechanics. What does it feel like to go from this position to drop into it? And then obviously once you've got the hang of that, then you can start to go a little bit quicker, working from both legs, just building this movement in. Then from there, then you can start going from a wider stance. Now again, this is going to be a little bit false at the moment, but you want to practice it and program it so then it just happens naturally in a match. So from my ready position, dropping into there. I went with the wrong arms. Practice it going the other way. Ready position. Ready position. And then you can start to do it with a jump. So you're from your ready position and accelerate. From the ready position the other way and accelerate. So that would be the process that you would go through to learn it. And obviously you can add in the racket anytime that you want. You can do all of those into there. But then the end result is going to be you're anticipating, you're seeing what's happening. Your opponent hits the shot, you recognize it, you've landed from your split step, and then you accelerate forwards. But the key piece being one of your feet drops back, you've got the shin angle, your center of gravity goes forwards, so now you're almost falling, so you're kind of into there and you're falling forwards. So practicing that over and over again. Don't worry about the ball, just program this first step until it's an automated thing, and then it will just happen. Obviously you'll be playing your match, you'll recognize the drop shot, and then you'll just be able to sprint, and you'll be able to cover that first step much faster and be much quicker to the ball. And then the final piece that we've got of getting to drop shots is the mindset involved. You get to the ball. You just run. You do not allow any negative thoughts to pop into your head that, oh no, I might not get to this ball, so there's no point in me running towards this ball. You know what to look for in terms of anticipation. You've programmed your step in so it's as efficient as possible. And now you run until the ball has bounced twice. You run as fast as you can until the ball has bounced twice. And once the ball's bounced twice, and I mean twice, then you can stop sprinting as fast as you can. But until it's bounced twice, you do not think about anything. You are just sprinting. No negative thoughts are allowed into your head. You have to have the desire to get to the ball. So many people prevent themselves getting to shots because they don't think they can make it, so they don't put their maximum effort in. So it's the 3 steps together. You work on your visual system, your anticipation, you program this footwork pattern in, and then you run until the ball has bounced twice. And it will surprise you how many shots you can get to if you just don't quit and you just go as fast as you can and just make it happen. Okay, so that's it. 3 steps for getting to more drop shots. We've got anticipation, we've got programming and practicing that footwork, and you really are going to need to practice it lots of times before it becomes natural, and then just the way that you approach this, the mentality that you take on court. Like I said a couple of times, the visual side of it is massive. The reason I harp on about this in every video I make is because most adult tennis players' visual system does not work well enough for them to play at the level they want. There's kind of a bridge. People have got an idea of what they want to be able to do on the tennis court, but they don't have the visual system that's capable of doing it, and it prevents so many people from improving it. That's why I've created that free program. So there's a link down below. Feel free to check that one out. I'll also place the other links from this week about the split step, the first step, and the movements to the ball. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, it'd be awesome if you give me a thumbs up. Any questions or comments, leave them down below.